Nothing can be more hurtful to the service than the neglect of discipline, for that discipline, more than numbers, gives one army superiority over another. President George Washington. Good morning, class. My name is Specialist Jones. Today, I'm giving an unclassified brief on core leader competencies in the Army. The purpose of this brief will be to identify the Army's leadership competency categories and analyze each of those categories so that leaders can recognize them and use them in their day-to-day career in the Army. For the agenda today, I'll be going over what makes a leader in the Army core leader competencies, followed by a summary. At that time, the floor will open up for any questions and I'll answer them then. What is leadership? ADP 6-22, the Army Leadership and Profession, states, leadership is the activity of influencing people by providing purpose, direction, and motivation to accomplish and improve the organization. The three core leader competencies identified by the Army in the Non-Commissioned Officer Guide are leads, develops, and achieves. The Army uses a be-no-do model to separate attributes and competencies. According to that model, all core leader competencies fall under the do section, while attributes are be and know. Because you can do the right thing, but you're going to have a good character and you're going to have intellect, so you're going to know. An example of this is a leader can be confident, and that would be an attribute. But to teach a class with that confidence would be a competency. It is important to identify and analyze these categories because they are part of what makes an effective leader. The first core leader competency that we will analyze today is how leaders are supposed to lead. The Non-Commissioned Officer Guide lists 5 actions leaders should execute to be more effective leaders. The first action is that leaders should take charge of their soldiers. They need to be able to do this, so if something needs to be done, they can rally their team on the task at hand. This is extremely important, as leaders need to be able to rally the troops at a moment's notice. If you have a last-minute mission come up and you need to be able to rally the troops to get ready, you need to be able to have that. The second action listed in the leaders need to be able to provide purpose, direction, and motivation. It is essential that leaders can give their subordinates the reason to complete a task, how to complete that task, and the motivation to complete that, follow through with completing it. Without a purpose, soldiers won't have a reason to start the task. Without direction, soldiers won't know how to complete the task. And without motivation, soldiers won't have a reason to finish the task. Leaders need to provide all of these. The third action is that leaders need to be able to build trust. Building trust in a team is vital because it allows a team to work more cohesively. It's hard to work with people every day if you don't trust them, especially on the battlefield. Without trust, there will be no influence and respect as a leader within the team. Providing soldiers with their needs and keeping them up to date with the latest information also builds trust, that you're looking out for them. The fourth action is that leaders need to provide an example. One way this can be done is leading by example, so other soldiers will emulate that behavior. We want soldiers to do this because one day they will be the leaders themselves, and they will be leading soldiers of the future. The fifth action a leader needs to be effective is to be effective at communication. Effective communication is essential to making sure all members of the team are on the same page, and that starts with the leader of that team. A leader needs to be able to communicate the where, the when, and the how to provide the purpose, direction, and motivation to soldiers. And that all starts with communication. If a leader can utilize all 5 of these actions, they will be able to effectively lead their subordinates. The second core leader competency that will be analyzed is how leaders are supposed to develop. The Non-Commissioned Officer Guide lists 5 actions leaders should execute to effectively develop within the Army. The first action to effectively develop within the Army is build the team. To build the team, leaders can have their soldiers perform a team-oriented MOS task. For example, an OE. If your MOS requires you to set up an OE254, you could have two teams work against each other to set up an antenna. This builds MOS qualification and team cohesion. The second action to develop is for leaders to develop themselves. This can be accomplished through going through college, taking correspondence courses, or military courses. This will set a good example for other soldiers and make sure leaders are even more knowledgeable. The third action to effectively develop is to create a positive climate. A positive climate in the Army is imperative. It breeds trust and team cohesion. We don't want soldiers hating to go to work. When soldiers work in a positive work environment, they will work harder and more diligently, therefore getting more done. The fourth action a leader needs to develop is to successfully develop this subordinates. A leader can accomplish this by encouraging college correspondence courses as well. But a leader must also give classes, such as starter time training and hip pocket training, to develop subordinates in subjects that wouldn't be taught otherwise. The fifth action a leader needs to execute to effectively develop is to be a steward of the profession. Leaders in the Army need to all be stewards of the profession, to maintain discipline and respect in the organization. Because discipline keeps the Army operating in so many ways, like the quote I used from President George Washington at the beginning of this brief. Nothing can be more hurtful to the service than the neglect of discipline. For that discipline, more than numbers, gives one Army superiority over another. When a leader combines the 5 actions for developing, they will successfully be able to develop themselves and others to better the Army organization. The third core leader competency that will be analyzed is how leaders are supposed to achieve. The non-commissioned officer guide lists 3 actions leaders should execute to effectively achieve in the Army. The first action a leader must do is to accomplish the mission. The Creed of Non-Commissioned Officer states, know that one of the 2 basic responsibilities of the NCO is accomplishment of my mission. A leader can successfully accomplish my mission by working diligently during mission preparation and planning. A leader must also know when and how to delegate work to subordinates to effectively accomplish the mission. The second action a leader must do to achieve is to execute and adjust if need be. In the Army, a leader works daily with last-minute adjustments and plans. A leader needs to be able to adjust their plans if need be and effectively be able to implement and execute those adjustments. If an adjustment is made to a plan, soldiers look to their leaders to remain calm, collected, and come up with a solution to the adjustment. The third action the leader must do to achieve is to get results on time and to standard. This is important in a leader because they must be able to lead their team to complete a task the right way, on time, the first time. If things aren't done the right way, soldiers get injured and equipment gets broken. In summary, the 3 core leader competencies a leader must do are leads, develops, and achieves. A leader will do the right thing to lead by example. A leader will do classes to better themselves and their soldiers. A leader will do what it takes to accomplish the mission. Leaders that strive to do all the core leader competencies will be effective in the Army. Are there any questions? This concludes my unclassified brief.